Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the next episode of the Emergence Show. I'm Nico Farrow, your host today, and I have an amazing guest talking to us about, how we can create the future craft. He is a Web3 builder, anthropologist, engagement leader, ethnographic designer, and creative disruptor. Welcome to the show, Jan. How are you doing today?
Wow, what a wonderfully lofty, awesome introduction. I'm great. Nico, thank you for having me. I love that supposition for how we're going to lead things off. So no, I'm doing awesome. I've been incredibly excited, as you know, for the last couple of weeks leading up to this, really
Thank
trying
you.
to hone in and triangulate what we're going to get into and the best way to capture this hour, in the most provocative way possible. So listen, I want to kick things off before we do anything and say I want to acknowledge everybody that comes into this space for taking their time, for being a part of this moment we're sharing together. Of course, this will be captured live and recorded, but there's something about the organic moments that we're sharing. So I want to just shout out everybody jumping in here, everybody joining, coming in, and engaging with us during this hour. And, open forum. I hope people put some questions out there in the chat that we can get into as well. And that's it. Really just looking forward to getting after it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to get into the conversation, and I appreciate you mentioning the power of live communities. And I love our community. I love our audience. They're so engaged. And I actually have an announcement. So we are making a community page. So we are going to have a LinkedIn page. I'm going to put the link in the chat. But moving forward, I want us to be able to like continue our conversations beyond the moment of the show. So that would be really fantastic to have everyone engage with one another and get to know one another. So I would appreciate if everyone wants to contribute in the comment section. Let us know, what they're working on, what's the exciting stuff they're working on, and then engage with our conversation and ask questions. But we want to take this further and like keep the conversations going to next week and so on. So again, thank you so much, Ian, for that. Tell us more about yourself. Tell us about your background, your expertise, your art. And I have a YouTube video that I want to share with everyone to take a look. But yeah, let me know when you want to share that as well. And yeah, tell us more.
Yeah, sure. So we'll do just a quick background on me and then a little bit about the art music crossover, and then that'll be a perfect segue, I think, to kick that video off. So, yeah, back to it. As you said, anthropologist. So I'm a
Sorry, I don't think I can hear you. I don't think I can hear you. Is our audience?
so it led me towards
Sorry,
exploring
you
people.
cut off
Yeah.
for a moment. Do you mind starting from the beginning? I kind of lost a minute of it.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, yeah. So born and raised in Austin in the 80s. So 80s baby, just kind of born on punk rock and hip hop and skateboarding and exploring life.
Amazing.
Only child. So I had to just lean on imagination a lot and on creating bonds through friendship. And, friends became family, I think, very easily and very quickly for me. And friends and family of all ages. And so I was non-discriminate from a very early age. And I think that led me towards anthropology. And beyond leading me towards anthropology, it led me towards the focus of modernity, like so sociocultural focus, but then a focus heavily on post-industrial revolution, technology moving at quantum speed where it's just layered upon itself, right? It's exponential. So all of these things at a very young age, pushing buttons on a keyboard, on synthesizers, getting on computers as soon as 386, 486, dial-up modems, American Online CDs. I mean, we're talking about the very like beginnings of internet and like understanding what it meant to be kind of interconnected. And So building from that interest peak, trying to also just float around in my early 20s and late teens. Like I didn't know what I was doing down in Austin, just trying to figure it out. But it led me to moving up to a very eclectic city in Texas called Denton. It's jazz heavy, so music heavy, very enriched in creation, the creative arts. And their social sciences program, where I got my degree from, is super strong. So I have a degree from the University of North Texas. It's a sociocultural anthropology degree. And I minored in ethnomusicology. So, I had kind of roots in music and music creation. I've been a performing artist for the last 2 decades, focus heavy on hip hop, a little bit of funk and fusion. But I'm the front man for a hip hop group live, and then I do lots of just kind of traditional hip hop sets, which would be like MC DJ or MC over beats, etc. And I've been, performing nationally, festivals, the Vans Warped Tour, numerous years, lots of local festivals, state festivals, going all over on tour. And in doing so, it just became a lot of network leveraging, right? Relationship leveraging, figuring out how we can all help benefit each other. Listen, for those listening that don't know, much like it would be like for your developers that are bootstrapping, your independent media companies that are bootstrapping, it's the same way when you're an independent artist. We're just trying to connect with each other, find people that we know in these cities that we want to ping off of so that we have opportunity to express our art. So in
Yes.
that light, it's kind of all the same melting pot, and we're all in it together trying to figure this out, right? Unless we're just handed this guide stone that says, here's how you do things, which guess what? Ding ding doesn't exist in Web3, right? Or in emergent technology or in digital transformation, whatever you want to look at it, right? So long-winded, long breath. That's back to the music and anthropology connection. So tours, people, leaning into those relationships, figuring out what each of these artists are doing to create their resonance, what's their impact, what's their fandom, how are they creating engagement anchors. And I took all that in over these last 2 decades and adopted it and adapted it and creating it into brand work, into case work, use case, actual, applied case study. And then further than that, being kind of a walking, living, breathing, incarnate example of what an artist can do as they look to digitally jam formation themselves, right? Bringing some music into the experience. And so that led me to blockchain. I got into blockchain in 2019 due to my guy, Lex Lewis, who's a Solidity developer at the time, who's gone on to do other really great things in the space. And, he was kind of like, he sat me down and said, everything you've ever thought about from your musical journey, you need to abandon. And it wasn't that rough and it wasn't that harsh, but that was the core message. And what he meant by that is, I think, not Audacity, there was some very new fledgling NFT music DApp that was being promoted. And he was like, look, man, NFTs are the future. Own your royalties, generational wealth, no more control by the machine, no more control by the industry, yada yada. And I'm like, no, man, I just grew my fandom to 10,000. Like I just hit 100,000 streams. What are you talking about? Stop, right? It just didn't compute at the moment. But what it did is it stuck. Like it remained in my head. And so, I went on and I released the project the traditional way, and it did great. I gained thousands of followers and, national recognition for the music. But, at the same time, my exploration into blockchain and into tokenomics and the understanding swaps and yielding and different token values and watching candles and all the back end boring stuff of understanding cryptocurrency, I was learning. But then also from an artistry standpoint, always looking to figure out how to expand my net worth, right? Like all we have is what we leave behind. I want to say that again. All we have is what we leave behind. And that is a huge operating, you know, benchmark for me. It's a huge impact measurement for me. It's a KPI. So I have to think about what is my resonance when I'm doing things. So,
Legacy.
anyways, back. Sorry, what?
I said legacy. Yes.
Legacy. Yes, yes. So anyhow, back to the blockchain music, connecting all of the 2 decades of networking and meeting people, meeting artists, understanding what their worth curves were, what their deficiencies were, and how we were helping each other, etc. What it did was it kind of led me on this path to say, okay, I think I understand what my digital transformation journey is going to start to be, and I'm just going to learn as I go. So after learning all the back end tokenomics, cryptography aspects of it, I really leaned into what token backed asset management meant, what digitizing my collection meant, my previous work, my back catalog, what it would look like to create token backed assets from my new work. And then furthermore, how could I bring phygital elements to it? And what I call that for my artists out there and for my creators out there is merch mints. So like if you have merchandise and you also want to integrate blockchain technology, doing merchandise minting allows you to have a physical item that your fans can hold, that your collectors can keep. But then, of course, we create the authenticity and the trustless system that the blockchain provides, and all of the fun stuff that you can do with use case and tokenomics on the back end of that too. So that led me to Wax. The Wax blockchain is a completely eco-friendly blockchain that promotes creator and creator collaboration. So I have over probably 100 collaborations with different creators on that blockchain, GameFi, you name it. And we'll get into that so that we don't get too far off beat here. The music and the blockchain piece connects to this next video that we're going to share. So also leaning on emergent technology is important. It's crucial that we stay market fit as creators so that when we work with brands that are looking to expand their reach and stay purposeful, stay pertinent in the industry and do their own chasm crossing, we can help them as creatives and help bring their vision to light. And that's really what I do as Monster Vision. So back to it, this music we're going to show leverages some really neat generative music creation where I prompted based on my lyrics and kind of prompted the theme of what the feel of the video should be. And then worked with my guy Simon Hyde on Sublime Sounds Network, which is a on-chain music label on Wax. And we minted this, I think it's the 49th release for the label. So, you know, active or aggressively pushing music out there on the chain. So again, 49th release. We just minted it last week. And this is a collaboration I did with my guy Teamo Denku, a hip hop beast out of the Midwest. This guy has collaborations with every rapper you can think of. So again, it goes back to relationship leveraging, networking, and then how do we expand those singular moments and how do we create, you know, anchor points that are beyond the single serving. So yeah.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for that. Yeah, this is amazing. You know, we on the show we have had really great marketers, you know, strategists, creative technologists. But I think your perspective is so fresh to come as an artist that is helping other artists and brands. And so I love to deep dive into everything that you have accomplished and what you're doing to help others. But before we get into that and show this great music video, which I love, I want to thank our audience that are tuning in. Dr. Oleg, Fatima, Yemi, Nolan, Gabriel, and everyone else who is tuning in. I appreciate you. Sorry we had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning, but it should be good now. If it's not, let us know in the comments. And yeah, tell us what you like to learn more and ask questions. So we are here for you guys as well. And so let's look at this amazing video. I'm going to share my screen now and play it.
Yo, Monster, you the homie, so I got you. Hey, yo, peace, bro. Stanko. What's good, Dave? Let's get him. Let's smack him with this shit. Boom, touchdown. Yeah. Yes, sir. And... School him, cause he don't know that they never come close to. They never come close to. Yo. The name's Denku Holland Opus with a Loki focus. Fuck teaching, I push knowledge back on most coaches. Do my lady raw on soft satin sofas. Then walk in the next week in worn out penny loafers. Cut a loaf of bread. Break it to millennials. Rhyming so long, feel I should celebrate my centennial. Ready dial aim, clean shot at the top. Reshock your whole block with lightning and a clock. Doctor aftermath. Don't dig until my future's past. Crack your hourglass wearing Prince Persia masks. Dash out 40 yards with the speed of Henry Ruggs. Dip down to Dallas before Debbie does. Link with Munster. Create cheese with greater tracks. Fade to black and sell back my Winehouse wax. Grindhouse gad on Amy's leg that I'll detach. And fire squad in your whole J. Cole mimic batch. Better school close to. They never come close to. Close to. They never come close to.
Amazing. I would love to share the link for our amazing audience to like tune in. But this was really fun. Tell us more about the production of it. I love the combination of like using the AI images. I think out of all these music videos I've seen created by AI, this was the most fitting to this like aesthetics. So well done. Amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. It took 5 to 10 different iterations of prompting and tweaking the time zones and like where I'll put the time markers for change and adjusting chaos controlled toggles. Like there's a lot that goes into the back end. I think let's demystify really quickly, right? There's an assumption that when you hear AI, that you can just simply put in some words in a thought train and that it's going to yield some magical result. And nothing in life ever is not what you put into it. What I mean by that is when you hear the adage that you get what you get what you get, right? You have to put work in. Things take effort. So let's jump right into it. AI, machine learning, LLMs, aggregators, algorithm enhancers, all of these things are toolkit items, right? They're all just tools that we have to build with. And as with any kind of architecture, as with any kind of engineering, any kind of construction, a tool is as good as its builder, and a builder is as good as the tools that they have. It's an ecosystem. And so
Yes.
even when I'm using prompting and I'm creating this generative video, it takes work, it takes time, it takes acknowledgement that there is no easy button.
Mhm.
I think you can set and forget plenty of things in life, but you're going to get a mediocre result. And as we've discussed in a lot of these different rooms and a lot of these chats, mediocrity is not acceptable for multiple reasons. First of which, because there are too many ways to drive success for there to be mediocre results that exist. And frankly, you're going to get run over and left in the dust if you try to deliver a client or brand mediocrity, because
Yes,
if you're
totally.
not constantly revisiting your creative in this emergent age as we dive into the fourth industrial revolution, then you've already lost. So, we've got to make sure that we're hanging on to, whatever our core deliverables are, whatever our core messages is, whatever our entity is that we're trying to sell, what the value prop is, because obviously at the end of the day, a business needs to make revenue to sustain itself, but it needs to do so in a way that drives, I think, the CX that says, I want your product. And the product should be strong enough in a sea of choice, in a plethora of offering, to set itself above the rest for XYZ of reasons. It's not even that you may have the best product, but you have the best market fit product for whatever that customer wants, whatever that client wants. And so all that stuff kind of mixes into this big stew, this big kettle of like, how do we create the alchemy to be market fit? And then that's really where we need to take a step back, look at what we are, what is our offering, what is our deliverable, what are we trying to jump across, right? And then how do we bridge that gap? And a lot of that comes down to really understanding what is achievable and what is a pipe dream. Interoperability is a huge word that gets thrown around a lot in the meta spaces and augmented connectivity and enhanced internet, whatever you want to call it, metaverse. And I think instead of looking at how quote unquote metaverse can be interoperable, I think we need to look at how assets and product become interoperable, and using technology that is existing or becoming available, such as bridging, and moving assets from one chain to another, and multi-chain capabilities is really how we start to drive interoperability, so that it's not that this world is this giant chaotic ready player one environment, but that it's more that these actual utilities that come with these assets are leverageable in different kind of product or client environments. So, you know, anything that's, built in a spatial environment, you should be able to use spatial assets in, right? Anything that's built in Unity, you should be able to use Unity assets in, but you can have these token markers that say, hey, I own this thing. So now I'm leasing this thing, or there's a way to reuse an asset for its use case on the back end that doesn't necessarily mean it's interoperable in the way that we're conceiving. So I just wanted to kind of take a minute to touch on that. Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we have comments. You're making new huge fans, Brett. And Yemi is saying that was amazing. The AI morphing was exquisite.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really great job with the video, and that's just one of many great work that you've done. So really appreciate that, and thank you for going deeper into what you think about the Web3 market fit and this transformation. I would love to kind of hear from your perspective of an artist who stepped into this space and then is bringing others with him. Kind of what was the before and after for you? Kind of, we had a great fashion stylist on the show a couple of episodes before, and she told us her before and after, which was, quite transformational, like how everything has been accelerated, simplified, and the whole creative process has been even accelerated, which often people mistakenly think that, AI is so easy and everybody can do it, but that's really not true. So I love that you touched on that as well. But yeah, tell us more about, like, especially as a musician, how was it before you incorporate these technologies, and how is it for you now?
Yeah, so that's a great cat.
Sorry, I think I lost you. I don't think I can hear him. I hope others can hear him. Hey, Ian, can you hear me? I think I lost you. I don't know what happened. Yeah, he will be joining us in a minute. So sorry. But yes, I would love to hear from him, and I would love to hear. Yes, his phone blow up out of things that happens with the live show. No surprise. But I put the link in the chat for in the comment section of LinkedIn, so you guys can watch his YouTube video. I also shared the link to our new community page that I would love all of you to join, share your great work. And yes, I think you're back, Ian. Is that right?
I'm back. Yes, my phone overheated from all the heat we were dropping. It was too hot.
No worries.
This heat. So yes, I'm back. I'm not sure if I can do the black background through the iPad.
It's okay. Just yeah, if you want to turn on your camera, if you have battery, and if not, we can enjoy your great voice.
Okay.
So if you don't mind answering the questions the question from the beginning, because we kind of lost you, what does the before and after look like for you?
Yeah, so that's great. I think we ended right when I was saying it was a chasm leap, right? So the before is kind of a traditional, and whatever that means, kind of a traditional musician learn curve. I mean, I grew up on 4-track tape recording, right? So like we used to have to run tapes back 3 or 4 times, 10 times to get a verse right, etc. So it's become kind of an interesting journey to watch, going from tape to mini disc recording to hard drive recording to recording on studio to Pro Tools to digital audio workstation. So the whole journey itself, ironically, or not ironically, in fact, is that this whole thing has been a digital transformation journey. And so as leaps of recording proficiency got better and better, so did my understanding of kind of how to leverage the technology that we had had available to use. So I think it just came from seeing the speed of which I could get projects done and how fast, getting stage setups got, faster and faster, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, it just, my journey was, as I learned about what was available, I started figuring out how best to use it. So over the last 2 decades, making 5 or 6 projects with groups and independently, and recording on my own, recording in studios. Um, it was really, I've always just been kind of technology curious and figuring out like how to use what is out there. And so once Lex kind of talked to me about that I could do music, kind of on-chain music, and create assets and own my royalties, and excuse my language, but screw the labels, because that machine is one of the worst setups for artist return. I don't know if any
Yeah,
listeners
totally.
are aware of just how bad it is out there. Like, I think when you get 1 million streams, it's like $1,000 or something. It's like that ridiculous. So we're out here just trying to figure out any way to monetize, any way to get leverage like back towards the artist. And the only way you can do that, and you learn that real quick, is having merchandise on tour. And so merch leads to, well, how do I have cool merch? How do I make people want to buy my shirt over the next guy's shirt, or my thing over the next guy's thing? And I think that's always what we're asking as a brand, as a company, as a SaaS product. We're always asking, like, how do we make them buy our shirt, man? I want them to buy our t-shirt, right? So what that meant was, okay, so I really need to explore what it means to token back my assets. So now we're going from my before to my whoa moment to my, to the now. So we'll start moving into more of a progressive modern time. But so 2019, 2020, I start looking at how I can create token backed assets. And in 2021, I make my very first minted music NFT on the Wax blockchain. And that was with Creative Artist Integrity Token. It's a project that unfortunately is kind of, slowly shuttered, but they were awesome. And they were, great pillar for helping creators kind of get their feet wet into blockchain creation, asset creation, etc. So anyhow, yeah, back in 21, I decided, all right, I'm going to take some of my legacy work, one of my favorite songs that people really love off my latest project, and I'm going to mint it onto the blockchain. And I was, again, able to do that on a green friendly platform that takes, not only does it take zero footprint, but it recontributes to a +1. So every bit of footprint carbon wise it impacts, it replenishes through wind, solar, or water green technology. So anyhow, I minted, and from there it was kind of just a journey of communion and community growth, community building. I don't know if that's me.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. So yeah, community growth.
What we go through with the live show.
Yes, it's
so
fluid,
fun.
y'all. We're rolling fluidity style here. That's just how we're doing it today. So listen, I minted in 2021, and I saw that not only was the response very hype, because I think NFTs were on a wonderful bull cycle then, so that was really neat to see. But I just saw really what the power of the communion was, and like the power of driving a community around a project. And so I gamified it, and I was able to do that very quickly by creating kind of a scavenger hunt scenario where
nice.
I was creating layers of my music. So I was taking maybe a chorus or a verse or an intro or a bridge and putting them into a pack, wrapping it into a pack wrapper using a smart contract that already existed on as a minting standard, and then allowing for creators to very minimal cost, like $1 a pack, 50 cents a pack, the way that trading card packs used to be back in the day. That's the feeling of these things, right? So you get a card, it's a digital collectible, you're opening a pack, you don't know what you're going to get. You could get a golden ticket that could be the whole song, the whole video. Anyway, so I was creating a scavenger hunt element where you created these elements and you could blend them up together to get different variants, different colorways, different outcomes of the music product. And so very quickly figured out a way to create kind of easy use case that was fun, that was gamified, that people felt like they were kind of building towards getting something. And that led me towards my first merch minting. And I think the very first thing that I did as a merch mint was a poster where, you know, if you got a certain mint number,
I think I lost you, Ian. Can you hear us? All right. I think,
anyway,
are you back? Sorry, I think I lost you for a minute. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing. Can you hear me?
1 second, sorry.
No worries, take your time. Yeah, this was great to know, like, kind of like how, you know, it's predatory and challenging with the traditional music industry. And now it is an opportunity for creators to, like, really get in touch with their audience, with their fans in another level and have more control over the whole process, over the kind of like how they want to engage with their fans. So fan engagement is a huge part, and then for brands, it gets to like brand affinity, brand loyalty discussion. While we wait for Ian to join us, I would love to hear from our amazing audience. If you guys want to type in the chat, in the comment section, what do you want to hear from Ian on this conversation as a perspective of an artist who is now strategizing and building with other artists and other brands? What type of questions you guys have? Other topics we're going to touch on is the digital transformation that he has helped brands doing. He has done some out of home marketing strategies and different type of projects that he's done. He was a selected artist for South by Southwest, so he's going to share some of his experience on that front, and then we will talk about like future trends and what will be next for artists. All right, Ian, are you back? Can you hear me?
I am back. Yes, sorry guys. I sure apologize for this
No
technical
worries.
hopper leapfrog we're playing. So I'm not sure where do we end?
Yeah, no worries. I think I was just telling our audience how what the rest of the topic and conversation will look like. So I appreciate you talking about kind of like different ways you have incorporated Web3 in your current workflow. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about other projects that you have in hands and kind of takeaways for our audience in terms of like what you did with disruptive graffiti and graph punks media, if you want to go deeper into those conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to wrap up real quick from the music side of things.
Sure.
There are minting standards that are out there. So if there are musicians that are interested and intrigued about how can we bring our music, previous or new, onto the blockchain, highly encourage you reaching out to me, and I'm happy to discuss all that. So yeah, let's jump forward into my impact work on other projects, collaborations, and creation media company connected. So
Ian, you're cutting off a little bit again. Can you say it from the beginning? All right, so we're gonna yes. So
here we go. Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
And jump into they had a project that had already dropped as a kind of a trading card collectible graffiti drop that's taking pictures of iconic murals all over London that were soon to be or being demolished, or obviously object impermanence, a huge factor with graffiti and with art. And so this art that was by no means permanent. We created some minutes, and it was
Sorry,
on the
Ian, we
blockchain.
have a hard time hearing you. If you don't mind getting closer to the microphone, that would be great.
Yes, and once again, Murphy's Law is in full play here against us today technologically. Can you guys that better?
Yes, much better. Now? Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. I'll sit right here and talk into it. So, you know, graffiti again is one of those most fledgling art forms, unfortunately, because it's either whitewash left over by other artists, by other crews. It's one of the most fluid forms of art, I think, but also one of the most bold and disruptive. So by bringing something that's so bold, disruptive, but also impermanent onto something so permanent like a blockchain, you really create disruption at the basal level. So the collection was a multitude of different street artists in London and across the UK. It's just an incredible collection. Hip hop artists creating now on the blockchain. Hip hop and graffiti are hand in hand intertwined. Dude, let's work, right? And
sorry, Ian. I think we have a noise coming through. I don't know where it's coming from. It's like an air or something. But wind. If you don't mind, like getting closer to the microphone and kind of, I don't know, closing the windows, that would be really helpful. Can you hear me? I apologize, everyone. This is the fun part of being live. So sometimes things happen out of our expectations. So yeah, I hope that we can have Ian back. If not, we can reschedule and continue the conversation another time. Ian, can you hear me? All right, so I think we should probably reschedule. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Again, I love live shows because we can interact with the audience, but so many interesting incidents like this happen. But, you know, we roll with it, and we hope that we make the best out of it. So I appreciate all of you taking the time out of your day, tuning in with us. And yeah, we definitely will reschedule to continue this great conversation, be able to showcase more of his great art. And yeah, also next week we have another great guest, Warren, and we will be coming back and talking about how we can incorporate technology in this brand transformations and more from great experts in the UK. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you again. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll be back soon. Take care. Bye.